Hey, everybody, welcome to another grad interview. Tonight, we are interviewing Melanie, and as you saw from the title of the interview, it was how this stay at home mom, she's now a food photographer, and we're going to talk about this whole journey of how she went from never having used a camera before to working for clients. And so, Melanie, why don't you start out and tell us are you? Where are you from?
I'm from Maine originally, but I'm in North Carolina right now.
Oh,
So
okay.
I claim
Oh,
both.
I hear
I
it.
think
I hear the
what
North Carolina.
I was gonna say. I don't think I
I
have an
hear the
accent, but
accent.
yeah, I'm in North Carolina. I guess I've lived here for 13 or so years. So I should say North Carolina, but born and raised in Maine, so I have to always put that in there.
Okay, sure. That's wonderful. So what took you to North Carolina?
My husband actually, he's from here. So,
Oh, okay. You just like
um,
we're moving home.
well, no, I met him on vacation and ended up moving here. I was a flight attendant before this, so met him in Aruba actually, and he was in North Carolina. So that's a whole other story. But
Okay, that sounds super fascinating. We will
uh,
save that for another
yeah.
interview. Oh my goodness. Well, that's great. So you were a flight attendant, and
Yes.
then so why don't you start there? Um,
Um, okay. I was a flight attendant before I had kids, and when I had my first son, I have four kids now. When I had my first son, I knew I didn't want to keep flying, so I wanted to be able to stay home with him.
yeah.
So I mean, I did work in a portrait studio for a while, and I actually really liked that. But the month I quit my flight attendant job, it was my son was a couple months old, and that was January. And then that January, the portrait studio announced that it was closing. So I ended up having two jobs to no jobs in a matter of weeks. So, I mean, I
Wow.
tried lots of stay at home mom things. I did lots of the MLM. I did Avon. I did LuLaRoe. I did all kinds of stuff for a while, and nothing quite stuck like this has. So I was,
Wow.
I was
So
very grateful.
So how did you hear about Pretty Focused?
I don't even remember because I've been getting emails for a long time. I mean, like since 2015, and I've seen emails for like years, and I was trying to like go back and like how long did I start getting like the emails? Because I mean, I have them on like three different email accounts, so sometimes I'll get like join Pretty Focus from my other two emails still, and I'm like, oh no, I already did, but but yeah,
Oh,
I got them
wow.
for like years and years, and I open them here and there, and just I don't know why I never did it until 2000 what was that 22. So when I finally decided to join.
That's when you decided to join was so after hearing about it for years. So good to know. You've been hearing about it, seeing things for a
uh,
really long time. Why in 2022 did you decide to take the leap?
um, I think that was the first time. So I have twins that are going to be 9 now, but at the time they were 7. So they had gone to 1 year of virtual school for kindergarten. So we did that at home. That was crazy. And then this was the first time that I had 3 kids in school. So things were getting like a little more calm. And I felt like I could finally do something that I wasn't like taking care of kids 24/7. So
Yeah.
um, once they like finally went back to school in person full time, like, which thanks to COVID took a lot longer than I had expected. But yeah, they finished their first. Did I just my light just went? Having all kinds of trouble. But I don't know why my light bulb just blew out. Yeah, so once they went back to school,
That's good. We
um,
can still see you.
yeah, you can still see me. I had more time, so I was like looking for something to do, and I knew that I wanted to do something that I could still go to their sporting events, and then I could be at their school when I needed to be, and um, that allowed me to stay home. But okay, this is just gonna be really dark. I don't know.
Yeah, it's totally fine. It is totally fine. We'll just go with it. We can still
um,
see you just fine.
yeah. Yeah, so once they went back to school, I signed up for the class, and it was funny because um, I joined in May, and my birthday was April, and for my birthday we went out to dinner, and I was taking a picture of cake, And my husband said, he's like, why do you always take pictures of your food? He's like, no matter where we go, you take pictures of your food. And I was like, I know, but I just love it. I love taking pictures of things. And that kind of like, I don't know, just kind of put it in my head. And then the next day or something, I saw another email come through and I was like, like maybe I'll do it this time. Maybe I'll actually try it out and see what comes of it. So
yeah. So I want to go back to when you were like on our email list. You'd been subscribed for years. What
yeah.
kept you why were you like, what kept you around, I should say? Why did you stay subscribed all those years?
I really don't know, I guess. I mean, I think I always knew that I wanted to do it. I just never was like ready to bite the bullet. And I don't know. I mean, really,
the time. It was like in the back of your mind, but you like kept it there just in case you were for the day you were ready for it.
Yeah. I don't know why. I mean, literally that day I was like, that's it. I was like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to see if this works. And
so it was just a conversation at a restaurant with your husband. He's like, why do you always photograph cake? Yeah. How many of you guys do that? How many of you can relate to what Melanie just said? Absolutely. You put a piece of cake in front of me or something that looks delicious, I am probably going to photograph it.
Oh
God. So what attracted you to Pretty Focused? Why were you drawn to it? If you can think of like, you're like, I don't know why I subscribed or when I subscribed.
Yeah.
But what drew you to Pretty Focused?
The Buyers Club for sure. Cause I am not one, like, I mean, having been in like salesy type jobs, I know that I am not one to like try and sell you something successfully. Like if somebody was to say to me, I don't want to buy that, or I'm like, okay, bye. Like I was not the sales type person. I was not pushy enough to like go out and find clients. So having them come to me has been much better because I mean, I've had people that say no when I like put inquiries out there, but I don't think I would have had the guts to go up to bloggers on my own and been like, hey, I can take your pictures without being like, hey, I'm in this Buyers Club. I've taken this class. Like it gave me some kind of a credential to be like, yes, I actually can do this. That
yeah,
these people said it was true. So
would you, what was that? Oh, there we go.
On my back. All kinds of technical issues, huh?
Yeah. So you, so going back, you said that you were always that you were drawn to it. Can we pick back up there? That what was it that drew you to Pretty Focused?
Just the Buyers Club, the community, knowing that there was people there to like help me, I guess. Because I mean, I could have gone on YouTube and looked up videos, I'm sure, but knowing that there was somebody actually there to like review my work, to see what I could do to improve, and just have that kind of feedback along the way.
Yeah. So going through the program, would you say, did it give you confidence?
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, there were times where I was like very excited and then I'd post something and it'd be like, your lighting is way off. And I'd be like, oh, I didn't know that. So, I mean, I had a lot of lighting issues in the beginning. So it took a while, I think, to train my eye to recognize things. So there were definitely moments where I was like excited to post something and then I get the feedback and I'd be like, oh, actually it does look pink now that you've said that. And now that I'm like looking at it differently, it doesn't look like I thought. Where I think, if you post something on Facebook, your family and friends are always going to tell you it looks great. But, the coaches aren't going to say, hey, this looks great just to be nice to you. They're going to say, hey, you have an issue here. Your lighting needs work. You need this. So, yeah, there were definitely moments where I was like, I don't know if I should do this. And then there were other moments where I was excited about it. But yeah, and I think I still have moments like that where I question it.
Do you, would you say that, but did it give you the confidence to be able to go out? Because you said that you would never go out to bloggers and reach out to them, on your own, but it gave you the confidence because of the training that you went through.
Yes. yes and no. I still don't know that I would approach bloggers, but I was very lucky that bloggers approached me. So, and luckily most of them have stayed with me the whole time. So
Mhm.
I mostly focus on recreations, and I just keep booking the same clients week after week after
Oh,
week. So
that's great.
so I haven't had to look too far. I'm gonna try and plug this light in 1 second, but
Yeah.
I think I might have knocked it out.
That's okay. It is really
But
okay. We
okay.
can see you just fine. We can see you just fine.
Just
So, what do your kids think about what you do?
they like the foods, especially when it's like dessert and cookies and cupcakes and things like that. It took a while because they were so young when I like was doing the class that they every time I was making something, I'm like, oh, I'm doing my homework. And so still they'll be like, are you doing your homework? And I'm like, well, no, I'm getting paid for this now. Like now people actually pay me for this. Like, so I think it's still like new enough that they're like, oh, so like people pay you to eat cupcakes and like just don't quite get it. My oldest now kind of gets it, and he's actually helped me with a shoot here and there. He's 11 now, so he
Nice.
wanted to like help with the shoot, so he stayed up, and I don't remember what we were doing. I think it was quesadillas. So I had him like holding the pan, and then I would like flip them so that I could get the shot. So I mean, it was nice having an extra set of hands, so you kind of got to see the whole
Yeah.
shoot from start to finish. But
I love it when they start to help like that. My oldest is 11, and then I got a 9-year-old, and they love coming in and helping me, and it's the best. It's the
yeah, my twins
absolute
are
best.
about to be 9, so very similar ages. But then my youngest now, she's 5, so this year she'll go to school. So I may
Yeah.
have more openings come September.
So,
um,
what has how many clients do you currently have then?
I have 4 that I work with almost every month, and then I have
Okay.
a list of maybe like 12 that I rotate here and there when I have like openings, so that I just
Wow.
kind of bounce back and forth, and I'll be like, I have an opening here and there, and then I just go through and see who will take it. So I try to stay
Wow.
pretty full. I had a rough January. I booked one client, and she ended up not working out, but I like having multiple clients per month so that if something happens and somebody doesn't, then I can just kind of bounce
Absolutely.
back and
Yeah.
forth. And it switches it up because some of them are very like healthy driven blogs, and then some of them are like sweets and cookies. So it's like 3 or 4 months of doing sweets and cookies. I'm like, okay, I need to like get some healthy stuff in there, and I can switch up. Like, what do you have for me this month?
Yeah.
So
So tell us what this career has allowed you to do.
the biggest thing was actually put my daughter in preschool, because when my twins were young, we couldn't afford preschool. So
Mhm.
we had done it for my oldest, and he went to kindergarten, like reading way ahead of the game. And then, I mean, my twins went into kindergarten having no preschool and doing a COVID year. So, like, they struggled a lot more. So I knew that I wanted to do preschool for my youngest. But I mean, around here, it's, $300 or $400 a month. And I mean, having 4 kids, it was like, I can't swing that. So,
Can't pay a
yeah.
small mortgage for
Yeah.
preschool.
So,
Yeah.
So being able to do that now, I mean, what is it, February? So March, April, May, 3 more months, and I've paid for her entire year of preschool. And I mean, she loves it. So it's been really good for her, because she was a COVID baby. So she was home a lot. So she was very clingy and hadn't really been around other kids. And so seeing her go to school and like make friends and like do stuff with her friends, and I mean, she never wants to leave. Like, I let her stay after for lunch on Monday, and she was so excited. She's like, I'm gonna do that every single day. So I was
That's
like,
funny. That's how my boy. They called it lunch bunch at their preschool. They
yeah,
just thought it was the best.
yeah.
Um,
So that, and then
so so
sports,
how does it
gymnastics.
feel being able to do that?
It feels really good, and I mean, just knowing that I can support our family too, because for a while, I mean, it was just my husband, and my kids would ask for things, and I mean, even just like birthday party things. Like, I want a birthday party at a really cool like jump park, and we'd look it up, and it'd be like $500 or $600. And I'm like, we can't do that. Like, we don't have extra money when it's just one person working and there's 4 kids. So last year, both of my twins had a birthday party with their friends and, did all the stuff. And it's
Wow.
like, oh, we can actually say yes to things now. We don't have to be like, no, you can't do that. No, you can't go out to dinner. You can't. It was just like so many times just saying no. And it's like, we weren't poor. I mean, we still had, a good house. We had food on the table, but it was all the extra things like that you
Yeah.
had to say no to. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, all of the nice to haves, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like they're not need to haves, they're nice to haves. But
yeah,
so it sounds like, do you feel like it's given you freedom?
definitely. And I mean, I hate to say this, but my kids were really sick last year. So just being able to just drop everything and go get them when they're sick, like your kid's sick. I mean, last week, my oldest got a concussion at school and
Oh,
he had to go to the hospital, and it was like, luckily he's okay. But I mean, it seems like every week there's something that it's like, drop everything. And I'm like, I can't imagine having a job where I'm like in an office setting and have to leave 37 times in a year because I had sick kids. And I'm like, I mean, anything. Like, I can go to their science fairs, I can go to their art shows, I can go to anything because I just literally adjust my schedule so that I can be at all of their activities and all of their school events. And that to me is
yeah.
totally worth anything. I mean,
Yeah. So for you, do you think that Pretty Focus was worth the investment for you?
yes. Yeah. I can't even imagine doing this without it. I mean, honestly, the people in it was one of the biggest things. Like, I connected with a couple other people. We met for a while, and just other people in the course that would just help you. Like, I don't think other photography groups do that. And like, you just say something like, hey, I like your plates. And like, they'll be like, oh, here's the plate, here's the link and stuff. And it's not, there's no like that gatekeeping, like this is a secret. It's like, here, I will help you. And I mean, I had issues with, it was like a chili dish or something. And literally another student was online, Zooming with me, trying to figure out like why my colors weren't working. And I mean, like, just everybody is really,
Wow.
really willing to help. And I mean, lighting issues I had early on, and Redondo was awesome helping me with that. And I mean, just like literally anytime I've asked for help, there's always been somebody that's like, yes, I can help you and I can figure this out. And I don't know. I mean, it's just, the community is completely worth it
Yeah.
to me. Just having that.
Yeah. There's some really phenomenal people in our community. And I'm really proud of our community and all of the stories that I just hear over and over again about how helpful people are. It's really encouraging to know that there's some
Yeah.
really great people out there, right?
Yeah. I mean, and I feel like everybody who joins this, like, I haven't met anybody that's not nice in Pretty Focus. Like, everybody is just so willing to help you learn and help you grow. And even just like when you post something in the group, like the feedback you get from just other people going through the course and being like, oh, I love that, I like that. And it's just, I don't know, it's like a good feeling that people actually care when you're
Yeah.
going through this. Like, you're going through this and you're not going through it alone.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So
Um, so somebody says, what's Pretty Focused? If somebody asks you this, what is Pretty Focused? What would you tell them? How would you describe it?
um, it's a food photography course, but it's better than going to college because one, you can do it in your pajamas, and two, you can do it on your own time. But literally, it's just so helpful. Like, there's just, I can't even describe how helpful other people are. And I mean, like, you can take a course, but if you don't have somebody there to like guide you and help you and push you, I mean, at least for me, like, I've signed up for other courses and they've just sat there because I'm like, I'll just do it. I'll do it whenever. But it's like knowing, okay, I'm getting close to number 15. I'm getting close to like turning in this homework. Oh, I think it's Redonda's day. She might be doing critiques later. Let me try and get in a session, or like, just um we're
So
not
would
supposed to
you
know who
pick the
started.
days that you submitted your work based on the coaches?
Redonda has excellent feedback, but I mean, they're all really, really great. But I mean, I would just literally submit anytime. Honestly, I submitted so many things. I think I was probably like the worst student. I don't know if there's like a record for how many sessions you have to go through to graduate, but I probably have like the longest the longest running of like how many sessions I had to do before I graduated. But
But you know
yeah.
what? You did it.
Yeah.
You did it. So let me ask you, did you have photography experience coming into Pretty Focused?
So I actually went to college and studied photography, but
Okay.
I'm old, so it was a lot of film photography.
So
So
was
it was a
relearning.
different game. And then I did work in a portrait studio, which ironically was also a film camera for a while. And then they did switch to a digital camera, but everything was programmed. It was in there. You just literally walked in and you pushed the button. You didn't have to adjust anything. And I mean, I did know like the f-stop and all that, but I hadn't touched a camera in probably like 10 years because I had been using my phone since my son had been born. That was the last
Yeah.
time I'd worked in a studio. So
Yeah. Wow. So how was the curriculum? Was it easy to follow? Was it
it was
easy to
definitely,
understand?
um, Lightroom was hard for me, but I know that lesson has been updated since then. But I had always used Photoshop and I had never ever used Lightroom. So that took me a while to
Okay.
understand. And I haven't gone back. I know it's like way better now than it was when I took it. But I mean, that was the only thing I really struggled with. But everything else, I mean, it made sense. It just took practice to get things right. I
Yeah.
think I had to do things a
Yeah.
couple times before.
So you were just learning Lightroom. I mean, editing is a beast anyway. It just takes repetition. It's one of those things that just takes repetition. It takes experience. It takes seeing it over and over again, and sometimes having things pointed out to you to get it right, to really understand what
Yeah.
I mean. That's how it was for me. Whenever I first discovered my pictures were blue, it was somebody pointing it out to me, and it was like, now I see it. Now I know how to fix it, and that's why we have coaches who give us feedback. Um, so how was the coaching?
It was really good. Honestly, the feedback you get, like every time you submit your homework, it's very detailed. And people will go through and they'll say, like, this picture, this is non-focus, this is why, this is like this color is off, the lighting here doesn't match the lighting there. So like that kind of feedback was
Yeah.
extremely helpful because unless you're in this like world, I don't think, I mean, like I couldn't ask my husband like, hey, does this white match this white? Or I couldn't ask a friend and they'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like they look exactly the same. Like, it's like you need to see it. And then once you keep seeing and just seeing other people's work, like I would see other, and I now like I try not to, but I'm like, oh, I think that's the color's a little off there. And I'm like, oh, don't say anything. Like they'll come and say that for her. But it's like you just start to notice. You start to notice in your own, you start to notice in other people's, you start to like just see after a while. And I think having people along the way to just point out the things that you need to work on. I mean, and even still, like I took so many notes when I was going through and I'm like, oh, I did a soup once when I was going through class. Let me see what they said about my soup or something. Like, oh, I should have gone higher. Oh yeah, let me remember I gotta like put my light higher when I'm doing the soup or something.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great. You just go back and reference it even now as you're working with clients. You just
Yeah.
save that. That's amazing. That's really great.
Yeah, I sometimes miss it. I'm like, can I just put this in there? Like, but luckily my
Yeah.
clients have been awesome. Like I mean, and I have clients I started taking clients before I graduated and how some of them has stuck with me through through all of this. I'm like, God, I was really bad in the beginning. And yeah, they've been really awesome. So they will
That's
give me
great.
feedback.
That's great.
But
So where do you see yourself in a couple of years?
I'll probably be doing more sessions. I would say I'm like part-time right now because I only have 2 hours that all of my kids are gone during the day. So um once all of my kids are in school, I think I will probably pick up more sessions. We'll see.
Good. Good.
Uh,
Good. That's great. So you just see growth in your future. You're like, finally, I have found the thing.
yeah.
Like, I found the thing that works for me, that works for my family. I mean, your kids love it. You get to eat. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get to photograph at home in your pajamas, and then be available for your
Yeah.
family. I mean,
And I
just
just I don't know. Um, my kids' schedule is just so crazy that I'm like, I don't know what other job would fit into it because they all play a sport. They all have an extra school like club or activity. I'm like, I'm like, plus we have church on the weekend. And I'm like, I do this like pound fit class. And I'm like, we just are gone a lot. And I'm like, when would I fit another job into our schedule? Like, when would I actually work if I didn't do it when my kids are sleeping, or I didn't do it while my kids are at school, or I don't know.
Yeah, that's so true. Wow, that's incredible. So looking back, what would you say is the best moment that you can remember that you've said yes to? It's so great because you talked about a lot of the yeses.
Yeah.
Like, it's allowed me to say yes to so many things. What's the best one that you've been able to say yes to?
Probably the birthday parties, because I mean, my kids were my twins. Their birthday is March 13th, so their first time that we were going to have a birthday was when COVID shut down. So they had never had a birthday party until last
Mm.
year. And then we went out all out. I mean, my daughter was like, "Can we take my friends to Starbucks?" And I'm like, "That's 12 girls to Starbucks." Like, yes, like, yes, we can go to Starbucks. So we went, and that was an expensive Starbucks trip, but but it was like, like just being able to say like, yes, we can do that, because like a year before it was like I wouldn't have even said yes to Starbucks for myself, and it's like to say that to my kids. And just, I mean, I don't know, like it's always hard saying yes to that. I mean, saying no to them. So to be able to say yes to them, I have to be careful now, because my oldest three are very grateful and they are so appreciative of everything. But my youngest, and I'm getting a little too used to saying yes, that my kids are like, "How many times have you gone to lunch with her? Like, we never went to lunch when we were okay. Like, we got to scale back just a little bit." Like, so I gotta maybe reel that in a little bit.
I understand. But you know what? Whenever you've been able to, when you've said no for so long, being able to say yes just feels so good. I understand that feeling of being able to, that freedom. It's given you freedom,
And I mean, even
right?
just saying yes to like meet friends for coffee. And it's like, I don't think of the friends I have now would have ever cared if I said I didn't have coffee money, but I never would have gone. And now I can say like, yeah, let's go to breakfast. Like, we can do that. It's not like stretching our family budget because I'm going to spend $7 or whatever, which I
Yeah,
mean,
right.
I don't know. I don't think my husband would have cared, but to me, I couldn't have done it. Like, not personally have taken money from my family when it was tight. Now it's not as tight. And so that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so great. I
Go do.
love that. So, what advice do you have for people who are thinking about joining Pretty Focused?
Don't wait. I wish I had joined sooner. Um, and I just think like you probably are going to be really bad at it, or at least I was. And it's like, just know that it's okay to be bad in the beginning. Like, we all start somewhere and just grow from there. And I mean, it's hard because there are some really good photographers in there. So like, you put your work up there and like, it's intimidating, but even, I mean, if you don't have skill, like I've seen so many people in there that literally, I mean, I saw their first picture and I was like, oh, and I mean, now it's like, they're better than me now. Like, I need to be like careful, because they're going to come and graduate in like just a few, like, I mean, just the growth you see in the group is impressive. And I think if you just try it out and just know that it's okay, post really, I mean, just look at my stuff. It's really bad in the beginning. So just like search my name and go and see like how bad it was in the beginning, and know that, like we all start somewhere, and it's like you can
Yeah.
grow from there. And it's,
Yeah, so people typically have two objections, two things that are concerning to them whenever it comes to joining Pretty Focused. The first one is time. I don't have time. What would you say to somebody that says, I don't have time?
um,
Like, I want to do it, don't think I've got the time for it.
I
What
think
would you tell them?
you make time for things that are important. And I mean, I didn't have time. When I joined, my youngest was still in diapers. We were still breastfeeding. I had two kids that I think they were like 7, and my oldest was like 9. So I mean, like I had 4 kids at home, and I mean, I literally just was like, when they go to bed, I'll do this, and stayed up a
And you
little bit.
did.
Like, and I mean, it's
Melanie,
just
I remember you getting out of bed at 1 o'clock in the morning.
still that time. That was this year I was like, I'm going to go to bed on time because I still do it. I'm like, oh, I can just one more shoot. I was like, I bet I could do it like right now, right now. And even now, I'm like, oh, I do have one more. I can do it tonight. Like, but
Oh
so
my gosh.
I was just like, I need to go to bed. I need to like sleep more. But
Yeah.
I was,
So just do it, right?
yeah,
You
I mean, I
make
was,
I love that you said you make time for the things that are important to you.
yeah. And I mean, it's going to pass anyways. Like, you can keep putting it off and putting it off. And like,
Yeah.
6 months, you're just going to be regretting it. But you could have
Yeah.
been 6 months of progress if you started. Like
Yeah.
you regret 6 months of not doing it, or you could, I mean, you could graduate 6 months. People do. I mean, it took me like 8, but you could probably do
Yeah.
it. Like, so,
Yeah. So now the second objection people have, and this is real, this is legitimate, is I can't afford it.
oh, I
Like
could.
it's not in the budget. What would you tell them?
Um, it's definitely. It's. I know the price has gone up, but I mean, even for me, I could not afford it. Like, there was no way. I don't even know if my husband still knows how much how much it was. But I mean, I just sold everything I could possibly think of because, like, that was the thing. It was my birthday, so anything I got for my birthday returned. I like sold my daughter's crib because I was like, I guess she was 3, so I was like, it's probably time. But I was like, I could sell that. I was like, what else can I sell? And I literally just went around the house like, what can I sell? What can I can sell this, I can sell that. And I mean, I was just posting things on Marketplace like,
Oh
hey,
my gosh, you returned your birthday presents?
oh yeah, I returned everything. I feel bad because my husband, I had wanted this dress for so long, and I was like, it was this $100 wool dress that you're supposed to wear for like 100 days. And I couldn't believe he got it. And then I was like, I really want to return it. I was like, that's $100 I could put towards this class. I was like, can I return that? And luckily he like did. So, I mean, I returned anything that had a tag on it still, anything I could find. I mean, even my kids' toys that I was like, you're not playing with this, right? Like, I bet we could sell this. Like, I mean, I was just selling so much stuff that I was like, you can make it work. You can make it work. But
So
uh,
okay, you put in so much work, you invested so much, you sacrificed so much for this. Why?
um,
Why?
I believed I could do it, and I believed it could work. And I mean, I was very lucky that I don't even know who it was. I feel bad. I don't remember, but I had posted in the Road Mag group, and I was like, is this real? Like, and then somebody messaged me and like, absolutely, this is real. Like, you can do this. And I was like, okay, this was a random person on the internet says so I'm going to join. And the 30-day money back guarantee. So I was like, in 30 days, I'll figure out if it's not real, then I can return it. So we'll
That's
figure
right.
in 30 days if it's not legit. And luckily it was. So
Yeah.
I don't regret it at all. But yeah, I just wish I had done it sooner. I don't know. I probably couldn't have. My schedule's probably even crazier then. But I mean, I
Yeah.
waited. I saw the emails for years and years, and I mean, I can go back and like see like your early emails, and I'm like, oh, like why did I originally subscribe, and why did I just keep? I mean, I would read them every now and then. I'd be like, click, let me read it, but
Mhm. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure there's people watching who know,
yeah,
they've been doing the exact same thing. Um, so there was a lot of sacrifice on your part,
yeah.
because you knew it could work for you. Um, but what problem did you think that it could solve? Not just that you could do it. There was a bigger problem that you were thinking that it could solve. And you're like, I know I could do it to solve this problem.
Well, money for sure. I mean, just knowing like I hated saying to my kids like, I mean, they would just be like, can we go to McDonald's? And be like, no. And they're like, why? It's only a couple dollars. And it's like, no, we can't. Like, we just, and I mean, just, I couldn't do it anymore. I was like, they're getting older and older. And like my daughter really wanted to take gymnastics, and she was like tumbling around the house and stuff. And I looked it up and I was like, yeah, we can't do gymnastics. Like, so I put her in dance, which that was the first thing I paid for was dance. And we did like a tumbling dance class, and she loved it. She was like, I still want to do gymnastics. So this year she's in gymnastics, and
Wow.
it's crazy expensive, but she loves it. So I'm like,
Not for you, mama.
yeah, I was like, we'll just keep doing it. And sometimes I wish she'd pick a different sport, but I'm like, I thought dance was expensive, but gymnastics is so far the most expensive sport I have
Yeah.
found. And of course, that's what she picked. So I was like, okay.
Wow. But how cool is it though that you can create and give your child those experiences, though.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing too, because I never wanted to have my kids want to do something and not have a way to be able to do it for them, to like see them really want to do something and just be like, no. And I mean, like, she literally tumbled around her house for years and years. And like, even before she took dance, she pretended she took a dance class. She was like, I take dance on
Oh,
Tuesday. And then she would like dance around the house. And I'm like, she doesn't actually take dance on Tuesdays. And then so we
well,
finally like, able to put her in um, dance and gymnastics. And now both of my girls did a recital last year. And then, I mean, I was like, my youngest will never really know what the older went through, which I feel bad, but it was just different
hey,
times. So
you can take them out of school and take them to lunch.
yeah, no, that's why I'm like,
When my kids were in school, I was like, "Not going to school today. We're having a yes day." And
we just did a yes day. I love it, by the way. That was another thing. So
tell me about that.
we do a yes day every year. I totally forgot about that. But so my mom, who passed away, she always said yes to my kids. And so the day that she died, I just like couldn't be bothered with anything. And so I said yes to everything, every little thing. And so then after that, every year on her birthday, we have a yes day to honor her. So like whatever they want. And so yeah, we just had one in January because her birthday was
Oh,
January 16th. So
what a
and I mean,
beautiful, fun way to honor
yeah.
your mom.
So yeah,
Wow.
saying yes to things. And that's, I mean, I like to think that she would appreciate that because I mean she literally said no to nothing. I mean, I would go over there and she would be like, "Oh yeah, do you want another bowl of whipped cream?" And I'm like, "Mom, are you just eating my kids' whipped cream?" Like, and so like being able to say yes to silly little things, I think she would appreciate. So
Yeah. Yeah. And I just want to say, like, you talk about gymnastics being expensive. I think it's I think
yeah,
it's priceless. I think you reframe that and be like, nope, it is not expensive. It is priceless. You are
yeah,
creating experiences and helping your daughter learn and grow in ways that she wouldn't have been able to otherwise.
yeah. Maybe she'll be in the
You
Olympics or
know,
something, and I'll be like,
who
"Oh, that's so great
knows?
thing," you know, like, but
Who knows? If she is, you're going to have to come back and tell me
yeah.
because I think that's amazing. So, um, um, what do you feel like you've gained since graduating? I mean, you talk about being able to say a lot of the yeses. What are some other things you would say that you've gained?
The community, just early on, I was very fortunate that another,
Oh, there she is.
I don't know what happened. We started Zooming with each other, and then a whole group of us formed. And I mean, even every day I'll check in and see what they are up to. And it's different students, some that are still going through the class, and some that have graduated, and some that graduated like a long time ago. And just like having that community, even just this little tiny community. Just, I mean, like seriously, I'll be like stressed out about something, and I will pop in there and be like, guys, like I don't know what's going on with this or this, and then just having other people to relate to it. It's like having a work environment without having to go to work for it, and I mean, being
Wow,
on different time zones, there's usually somebody on to pop on and say something. So I love
that's
them. If they're
amazing.
watching, they're awesome. So anybody there, but hopefully,
That's amazing. Wow. That is incredible. So, well, Melanie, thank you so much for
yeah,
being with us, for sharing with us. It was so great to hear your story, and what Pretty Focus has been able to do. Like, I'm so impressed that you had such drive and focus, and you've been able to create a better life for your family. And you made a lot of sacrifices. You made a lot of sacrifices, time and financially, to
yeah.
get here. And it sounds like, have you gained more? This is a question for you. Do you think you have gained more than you sacrificed?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even I would probably do it all over again. I mean, it was a lot of money for me, and I know it's a lot more now, but I mean, just to know that, I mean, I have a financial freedom to like do things like, and I don't have to ask somebody for. And even, I mean, my husband's been sick a little bit, and he's been worried about money, and I'm like, it's okay, I'll just pick up another session. Like, just to take that kind of weight off of him, and just, literally anything. Like, just, I don't know, just, it's worth it. It's, I don't,
That's the best. Wow.
um,
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for sharing with us. This has been incredible. I know a lot of people were encouraged tonight because they're feeling the time and the financial commitment that is huge for people. And so you just really spoke to those. Um, uh, and I know that people are going to be able to relate with you and your story. And I just thank you so much for sharing and being here tonight. I really appreciate it. So you guys, we're open for enrollment next week, and I'm going to grab the link for you. On Tuesday, we have a free training that is going to talk about pretty focused, in depth, and I'm going to talk about what the work looks like. We're going to talk about the gear that you need, and we're going to get into like some real nitty gritty. Like the roadmap talks about it and like at a higher level. I'm going to go more in depth, and then you have a chance to ask me all of the questions you have in a live Q&A format. So come prepared. Make sure you registered. I'm going to drop the link inside. Actually, Lenore, can you do that? There we go. Thanks. She's on it. I'll just have Lenore do it instead of just fumbling over the keyboard and talking at the same time. So make sure that you register for that free training. That way you get you get the emails for it and you don't miss it. Okay. All right, you guys, thank you so much. And I'll see you next week.